Bill Russell is the best winner that sports has ever seen. He won 55 games in a row in college, won college championships, won 11 NBA championships, and played for 13 seasons. Bill Russell is the greatest winner in American team. Sports historian, one of the most important athletes who ever lived. The amazing things he did in his incredible life will be remembered forever, both on the basketball court and off it. He was born in West Monroe, Louisiana in 1934. His full name was William Felton Russell, and he grew up in a poor town where black and white people were kept separate. Young Bill and his family had to deal with mean treatment because of their race every single day in the South. Finally, the Russell family had to move to the West because they needed to find work, and they ended up living in Oakland, California. Things weren't much better there either, and Bill had to live in government housing for poor families, but that's also where he discovered basketball. The game became super important to Bill when he was 12 years old, and his mother died suddenly. Bill found comfort on the basketball court where he could get away from all the hard things in the world, but here's the thing, his basketball skills weren't that great at first, and he almost got kicked off his high school team, even though he was tall and strong. When college scouts first watched him play, most of them didn't pay attention to him. They said his basic skills were really bad, and he didn't score many points. But Bill worked super hard on his own special way of playing defense. Jumping up to block shots wasn't something players did much back then, especially when helping teammates. At the start of his time playing, he also watched how other players moved so he could be ready for them next time, which was something high school players never did in the 1950s. All his hard work paid off when a recruiter named Halda Julio from the University of San Francisco saw him play. He saw a fighter with an amazing natural feeling for the game and a talent for making great defensive plays when his team really needed them. He offered Bill a scholarship, which Russell happily took. This was the first real chance Bill had to use basketball to escape being poor, and he promised himself he would make the most of this life-changing moment. At USF, Coach Wolpert focused on defense and a slow, careful style of playing, which was perfect for Russell's strengths. Russell's game got amazing, and he would change college basketball forever. The NCAA actually had to change the rules about defense, making the lane wider and not allowing certain types of blocking, but it didn't matter much. Russell was forcing his way each night and was winning like they never had before. Even more important is that in 1954, the USF team was the first major college to start 3 African-American players, Casey Jones, Hal Berry, and Russell. They were incredible, winning 28 out of 29 games at one point during their season on their way to a championship. Russell was the MVP of the Final Four, averaging over 20 points and 20 rebounds per game. But he still felt the sting of unfair treatment when he wasn't picked as Player of the Year for the NCAA. Russell knew that the best way to fight these unfair things was to put his team first and not worry about individual awards. The winning would speak for itself, and he was just getting started. After saying no to an invite to play with the Harlem Globetrotters, which would have been a huge paycheck, and dealing with another racist incident where the owner wouldn't talk directly to Russell, Bill entered the 1956 NBA draft. Red Auerbach and the Boston Celtics wanted Bill badly, but it wasn't easy to get him. The Celtics didn't have a high draft pick, so Auerbach had to convince several teams to trade spots with him. And And eventually, Russell became a Celtic between his last season at USF and joining the NBA. Russell was the captain of the 1956 Olympic basketball team. There, he led the team to win gold in Melbourne, Australia, adding more to his reputation as someone who won at every level. Once he got to the NBA, the Celtics immediately won the NBA title in 1957, beating their rival team, the St. Louis Hawks. Russell averaged 14 points and almost 20 rebounds with his amazing defense, but his teammates still won Rookie of the Year instead of him. After a tough loss in the NBA Finals in his second year, Bill and the Celtics would go on a tear. The Celtics won 8 straight NBA championships between 1958 and 1966. Bill finally got the individual recognition he deserved, winning 5 MVP awards during that time, and he consistently beat his biggest rival, Wilt Chamberlain, for both the award and the NBA title. It was proof that defense, commitment to teamwork, and tough determination were all worth it for Bill in 1967. Red Auerbach retired, and he chose Russell to be the player coach of the Celtics. This made Bill the first African-American head coach in NBA history, even though he and his Celtics dynasty were getting older. Russell would play and coach them to 2 more titles in 3 years when it was all finished. Russell had won 11 NBA titles. He had collected countless statistics and awards, and he had done it all despite the obstacles he faced every day. Today, the NBA Finals MVP trophy is called the Bill Russell Trophy to honor how great he was in the finals. Russell, who once said he owed the public nothing, had become an important figure in American civil rights movements and was an ambassador for both basketball and racial progress. From the rural South to the Oakland projects and all the way to becoming one of the most decorated sports figures turned public figures, Bill did it with a passion for justice and a talent for coming through when it mattered most. Rest in peace, Bill Russell.